friggin' drug cartels, you could have shootouts. What a load of horse hockey. Come on, give me a break.
Let me comment on that. He's saying Transport Canada got up on TV and said, watch out when you go to Mexico because of the shootouts with the police and military, with the drug dealers, one and the same, two different drug gangs fighting, and because of demonstrations. And that's my issue. Mexico, and we had State Department experts on about this and others, was set to probably be overthrown this summer. There was a good chance of it. I mean, rebellion nationwide. That's why I've had state senators on from Texas who are gearing up martial law on the Texas border, as you know, Steve. Could all this just be being used as hyping of just a flu, though we know it isn't just a regular flu, but just hyping it so the government can be the savior, so folks start worrying about their lives and stop worrying about the tyranny?
Well, absolutely, because in essence, if people are getting too close to the truth, the thing you immediately do is you introduce another situation that takes their eyes off of the big picture. It's just like there's a movement out there to abolish the Fed. I got news for everybody. The Fed's already been abolished. It's now going to be called the International Monetary Authority. The big money has moved to the Far East. This is set up, Alex. It's a total setup. So the thing that I think that everyone must understand, that the international elite could care less about nationalities. They could care less about loyalties. All they want is the raw material, and they're the pirates of the world at large.
They use false patriotism to control us while they're busy destroying the nation. And then when you get their own secret documents, their real threat is the red, white, and blue. Thank you, caller, David, Ontario.
Thank you,
Carter. Thank you. Carter in Louisiana. You're on the air with Steve Quayle. Go ahead, Carter.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Hey, one thing I wanted to bring up, it's a little bit of my own analysis. I think you guys will see that this is probably true. They see us reaching critical mass with the Tea Parties, conservative estimates with 2,000 parties with only 500 people, basically bring the numbers to 1 million, but we know maybe probably 1 out of 10 showed up, and then places like Atlanta, and they had 40,000 people that showed up there. So what they know is I think that another brick in Steve's argument is why now is the time, is because they realize they can't put the lid back on things. And if they don't usurp us now, then they'll not have a chance in the future.
Well, that's what I've been saying for months. The awakening to world government, the awakening to the New World Order, with them openly announcing it, they need some crisis as they emerge to play the part of saviors, attacking Iran, attacking Pakistan, further global financial plunge, stage terror attacks, bird flu. I've said those are the cards. They can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the cards, or they can play none of the cards, but I don't see them being able to move their agenda forward without a crisis. I don't know if this is the one, though, but they're sure hyping it, so we're here covering it, and I hope Steve is wrong about this, but I respect him. Steve, did you hear him?
Yes, and the brick is absolutely correct, but I think where Alex, the thing, look, I pray with tears running down my cheeks that I'm wrong, but I know this sounds arrogant, but I'm not. The reason I'm not is because it's not just one event. The global collapse of the financial world at all is engineered. Remember this, the number one prime directive of the New World Order and all of its minions is order out of chaos. Out with the old, in with the new. That means they're willing to self-immolate, in other words, put to the torch even their property for the sake of Lucifer.
They call it creative destruction officially.
Exactly.
They want to destroy things to bring in their New World Order. Thank you so much, Carter. George in Texas, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the thing is, I'm listening to the crisis. The thing is, I think we could deflect this if we could just get involved locally and deal with this locally at a local level.
Wrong. I say that I don't mean any disrespect to your caller, and I'll just get right to it. The situation is that the critical mass, Alex, that is representing the Tea Party. We obviously saw the belittlement, the ridicule, etc. This is where the biological card is being played. Now, look, when you win the game, you lay down all your cards at once. Okay. We've seen cards being played. We've seen the vilification of the patriots. We've seen anybody who's a constitutionalist, the whole list of DHS. And now the last card in my mind that triggered this, which, by the way, I said would be the case even 10 years ago, on talk radio that the systematic elimination of returning veterans who could present a problem. I said they will be systematically isolated and terminated, okay? Well, then I was a crackpot. When that card was played, Alex, that's when the whole thing went into effect, in my opinion. Now, I really do believe that, time is going to be very, very critical. And somebody just sent me an email saying, don't forget that I think April 30th is Walpurgis night, which is the second most satanic, important date on the satanic ritual calendar.
Yeah, after Samhain or Samhain. All right.
Yeah, that's Samhain.
Yeah, thank you so much, George. Yeah, it does appear they're playing their cards. They're moving into high gear. Things are accelerating. And I've been telling folks we're entering the danger zone. I don't know if this is it, but we are in the danger zone. Let's go ahead and talk to Nathan in Texas. Nathan, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. This is Nathan. I have a question. Earlier you talked about aspartame and how it was grown in vats. And I'm a type 1 diabetic, and my insulin is also grown in vats. And in the United States, they have banned pork and beef insulin, which is extracted from obviously cows and pigs.
That's right. They have pharmacological bacteria. They have pharmacological bacteria and crops that actually in the crops or in the bacteria secrete the insulin. I knew about that. And they also secrete the estrogen. When you hear it's synthetic, it's not really synthetic. It's coming from another organism. Just like they spray most of the meats you buy now so they can sell you rotten meat. In Latin, it translates, the English translation is virus-eating, bacteria-eating virus. And they spray this liquid vaccine on most of your meats. The problem is it's bred in tanks that come from fetal tissue stock in many cases. So it's being grown in dead human stock in these giant tanks. Folks, you can't make this up. And then that's sprayed on your meat. I mean, Steve, again, who comes up with stuff like this?
Literally out of the cauldrons of hell. Jesus made the statement that until he puts an end to the evil, there will be no end to the evil. And I want to share something. Well, these people are so absolutely ready to sacrifice 9/10 of the world's planetary population. I think people who are Christians have better realize this. They have got to stand up. They have got to take back the ground that they've given, because there's one thing more powerful than all the power of hell, and it's called the blood of Jesus. That simply means this, is that God is on his people's side. And Alex, what's strange to me is that the Christian churches that are rolling over for the New World Order, how can they prepare their people except to prepare them for slaughter?
Well, they're bought and paid for it. They're bought and paid for through the clergy response teams.
Absolutely. So my inbox is filling up right now after your show. And I mean, the point is that during your show, and I'm sure it will fill up after the show, but that's what people have got to understand. I didn't mean to be controversial with the man, but it's too late to get involved locally. You know what? When I get an email that says, we ought to do this, we ought to do that, you know where that goes? It goes in my junk file. Because that usually means you do it, Alex, or Steve, you do it. Fortunately, there are people that are standing up with us, not behind us. But the point that has to be gotten is this, is, ladies and gentlemen, based on the New World Order's timeline, based on everything getting ready to happen in the Middle East, getting everything that's going on in the world of economics, every area that you have known that was normal or you could trust in, it's being taken out from under you. And that's why I say this, that the only trust that you can have nowadays is to have a right relationship with the living God. Alex, this is biblical stuff. It's not just
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to end this in the next 10 minutes because then we're going to go right back into the retransmission when Dr. Sherry Tenpenny joined us from Mexico. That'll be perfect timing as we go back into the refeed from the first hour. Steve, let's talk to Tom in New York. Tom in New York, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. How you doing?
Good.
I've got a quick question and a quick comment. Quick question, I was wondering if you saw that the Obama legal team is pushing for the right to for military recruiters to approach minors in California, where a law was just passed that would prevent such from happening.
Yeah, well, they've gone in and are brainwashing the kids in the schools, setting up recruiting in the schools, and they threaten them with arrest if they don't sign up for the military, telling them it's the law, and then the guys that get caught doing that get promoted. Also, the new head of the Department of Transportation is the head of MAD, and they want warrantless checkpoints, breathalyzers for everybody at checkpoints, no more Fourth Amendment, DNA testing on the side of the road. I mean, hell is being released. Everything Bush did is being expanded by Obama. You've got Obama zombies stumbling around, having no idea what's happening, totally deceived. Again, Obama is their closer. I mean, I agree with Steve. The cards are being laid on the table right now, and it's just going to get more insane from here on out. But anything else, Tom?
Yeah, I just had one quick comment. I mean, absolutely no offense to anyone as far as their religious beliefs. Myself, I'm personally religious. But, you know, I'm completing my master's degree in political science and economics, and I've got a lot of friends at my university that I try to turn on to your show, but a lot of them just feel that there's a little bit too much religious doctrine being introduced in the sense of blood of Christ this, Lucifer.
Well, I mean, the issue here is that I have a news show, but I do have Christian guests on, and I don't censor what they say and do. And I think, you know, you've got all this humanist religion and environmental religion. It's just repackaged, being pushed everywhere, and all this